What do you think of when you think of peace? Even stopping myself and thinking, all right, we're going to do a daily dose for all of you out there. And again, thanks again. For those of you that are following and using this, we get so many cool letters about, hey, here's how we're doing this, or phone calls, or people sending emails saying, I watch this with our kids, or we do this every morning together, or I do this before I go to bed at night. Thank you for taking the time. We're going to continue to take the time with our incredible team to bring you the best we have in a daily devotion, as long as you guys daily continue to use this. See, it makes a great team. And when I'm thinking about this morning, we're kicking off a week on peace, and I'm like, peace? What do you think of when you think of peace? The absence of war? I mean, is that all the peace protests and peace signs and just not war, not violence? Peace. Do you think of sitting out on a kayak and this beautiful blue, just flat sea with a rod and reel in your hand and fish swimming around? That's what I think of when I think of peace. Do you think of sitting on shore or watching a sunset from a cliff somewhere, a mountain cabin with just a crackle of a fire going and not another sound? See, there's peaceful, there's peace, there's What do you think of when you think of peace? Let me give you a biblical thought on peace. It's Jesus. It's the last night of his life. He's in the upper room. John 14, 15, and 16. And almost every page is filled with nothing but red. I know a lot of circle, highlight, underline in my Bible. But he's talking with his disciples for the very last time. These are the most precious words. He knows he's about to go and after this upper room and be taken to the garden. He knows he's going to be arrested, betrayed. He knows he's going to a cross. And in the midst of all this that must be filling that room and the anxiety that goes with it, he says these words, John 14, 27, peace I leave with you. Wow. Imagine the night. This is that night. These disciples are going to watch Roman guards come take Jesus away. They're going to see the roar of the crowds chanting, crucify. They're going to watch him get nailed to a cross. It is in this context, in that night in the upper room, Jesus goes, peace I leave with you. Man, if there was ever a moment in history where a group of people needed peace, this is it. My peace I give you. Oh, well, that's interesting. Peace I leave you. What definition? It's my peace, he says, that I leave you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. He goes, look, I'm going to give you a peace that is internal, not external. I'm not going to give you peace, whatever worldview you have of peace. He says, I'm going to give you a peace that doesn't allow your hearts to be troubled, and do not be afraid. It's that inner place of contentment and being at rest with, the lack of anxiety, the lack of being troubled, the lack of fear. Well, how much do we have some troublesome and fear in our life right now? That's anti-biblical peace. I think you add to that Romans 5:1, therefore, since we have been justified, that's a legal term, since we have been found not guilty, since we have been made right by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. There is biblical peace. You say, oh, Chris, you read some verses, but I'm not quite sure if I have that definition yet. It's when I walk into my home with 3 teenagers, and I love a home that's peaceful. That doesn't mean it's all quiet. No one's allowed to say a word. There's some string instrument going on in a stereo somewhere and only candles are lit. No. It means I walk in and there's incredible harmony. No one's been fighting and bickering. No one's treating each other harshly. It's when I have my marriage, I know everything between Amy and I, it's just good. There's nothing I'm worried about for her, and she's not worried about me. There's nothing I'm worried about her finding out or discovering. We're at one-ment. There's peace. What is biblical peace? Jesus says it's what I give in you and through you. And it's done through your faith. You have been made right with God. You have peace with God because of what Jesus did. It's to be able to be in my own skin and in this life and know in front of God, we're good. And going off of last week, that I am his son and he loves me deeply, and I have an amazing relationship with him. And because of that, I can have an amazing relationship with others. Things are righted, not wronged in my life. And there is an inner sense of peace where my heart is not troubled. And it drives away fear because of who I'm with and the relationship I have of who I'm with. This week, we're going to take a dive into breaking this down and just look at peace. But for starters, it may be a little different than you and I think. It might not be the tranquil place or vista that we view. It might not be anti-war. It may be in the midst of great seas and friction saying, I'm good. My heart is in trouble. I don't have fear because I'm at one with this incredible God through my faith. And that gives me peace. Stay tuned this week.